In iRacing, Rallycross is perhaps one of the more unusual and misunderstood disciplines available to users. Therefore makes it the perfect place to begin the iRacing Almanac, a new series where I'll be documenting some of the lesser known areas of iRacing, along with the things you need to know before getting stuck in. In Rallycross, drivers race on tracks with a mixture of both tarmac and gravel surfaces, with a few jumps typically thrown in for good measure. Grids are up to 12 cars on most tracks, and drivers only have 10 laps to get to first. With laps being so short, typically around 30 to 50 seconds long, it makes for quite frenetic and fun racing that just doesn't happen anywhere else. There are 4 different series that make up the iRacing Rallycross ladder. The Rookie Class and Class D series both use the VW Light. This is a version of the VW Beetle that has been limited to 300 horsepower, which makes it significantly easier to drive if you're a beginner. The differences between both series are that the Rookie series uses a smaller pool of tracks, and it also uses a fixed setup as opposed to an open setup. If you've never done a dirt road race before, you'll have to start in the Rookie Class. Your road iRating and license don't carry over. It's perhaps both a blessing and a curse, considering you're learning a new car and you're learning a new discipline. You then have the Class C Fixed RX and the Class B Open RX. These use all 3 of the full-bore Rallycross cars, the VW Beetle, the Ford Fiesta, and the Subaru WRX. These cars all handle quite differently. Many people swear by the Subaru, as its additional weight and power can help maintain grip on loose surfaces, but its size often makes it harder to race side by side, especially on some of the twistier tracks. On the flip side, the Fiesta is very agile and can be slotted into gaps easily, but it can be a challenge to avoid losing grip. It's what I race though, and it's definitely not done me any harm. The VW Beetle sits somewhere in between these, and is a great car to jump into as a beginner, as it's completely free and reasonably well balanced. The Beetle and the Fiesta also have a trick that can get you out of sticky situations. If you have a huge slide, such as from taking a hit, try hitting the handbrake and throttle while counter steering. You find that it typically pulls the car in from angles that you wouldn't have thought possible to rescue. Aside from the differences in cars and setups, the main thing that splits these 2 series apart is how the Class B series uses a heat racing format. A typical session involves 2 heat races, followed by a last chance qualifier and a final feature race. It's possible to miss the feature if the split is big enough, which definitely adds to the tension of the race, and is something everyone should experience at least once in iRacing. One of the great things about Rallycross is just how cost effective it is. As always, the Rookie series uses 3 tracks on a rotation: Daytona Long and Short, Phoenix, and Charlotte, with the latter being one of the most universally praised tracks in the series. Once you get out of the Rookie series though, you might find that you own a decent chunk of the tracks anyway. Only 2 tracks are fully dedicated to Rallycross, Lancabernet and Daytona, with the latter a result of the legacy layouts being taken out recently, and is free regardless. With the VW Beetle being completely free too, it means that most people can take part in a full season without ever having to spend a dime. Pretty neat, right? Before you get to your first race though, there's a few simple tips you should know. A major one is understanding joker laps. In Rallycross, the joker is an alternative route that you have to take at least once during the race, so make sure you know where it is. Some tracks like Phoenix have jokers that act as shortcuts that save you time, whilst other tracks like Charlotte have jokers that lose you time. You generally want to use the joker when there is a car directly in front of you, as this typically slows you down. Taking the joker means you get yourself into some clean air, which can then mean you stay ahead of them or past them when they take the joker. You can even use it on some tracks to improve your qualifying times by giving yourself a faster run-up. Another key thing to understand is driving style. Typically people expect you need to slide the car around everywhere, when the opposite is actually true. Wheel slip is the enemy of Rallycross cars and will cost you time. On dirt sections, you should modulate the throttle to avoid spinning the tyres, while still maintaining your momentum. You can typically tell when this is happening just by listening to the engine. If the revs suddenly peak, that's because you're spinning the tyres, not because you're actually going any faster. You quite often need to think slow to be able to drive fast in Rallycross. The surface you're driving on also has a major impact on how you drive, and what the driving line is. The gravel is actually the least grippy surface on the track, so finding curbs, concrete, and patches of grass to stick a wheel on can really improve your speed. You should still aim to balance this with maintaining the momentum of the car. Even with the power of these cars, they can still take a bit to get up to speed again. And finally, launching the car at the start right is one of the easiest ways to gain positions. It can however be quite a challenge to pull off successfully. Most new drivers tend to just use the handbrake, apply some throttle, and then release the brake to launch. However, this can often result in wheel spin off the line, which slows you down quite significantly. I however use a combination of clutch and handbrake to preload the suspension, which gives me more grip off the line. Simply put on full handbrake, clutch and throttle. Then just a few seconds before launch, release some of the clutch. I have my paddle set to release just under 40%. When the light goes green, simply release the clutch and handbrake and you get a huge jump off the line. In the full bore cars, this usually requires some level of adjustment of the launch control revs and the gearing to get perfect, although I quite often use second gear to launch in the fixed setup races. Overall, Rallycross is a super rewarding discipline to race in, and has a small but strong community that provides regular splits throughout the week. It's definitely one of the ones to drive alongside your normal season for a bit of a break from the usual grind. What do you guys think? Have you had a go at Rallycross before? Leave a comment below and let me know. I'm also looking for other quirky series to take a look at next time for the Almanac. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe for more regular motorsport and sim racing content. I'm Half Left Toby, and thanks for watching.